Now then, in today's video, I have a challenge for you. Can you beat my lap time at Bahrain using the F1 2023 Alfa Romeo C43? That's the challenge for you guys here today. A massive shout out to EA for making this video possible and the Creator Network. But here we are, for the very first time, history being made. We are driving a 2023 actual F1 car in the F1 22 game. Now I'll leave some images on screen, but this car is actually the 23 car. It isn't a livery only, it's actually the chassis, which is pretty insane. A very short turnaround considering the Alfa Romeo was launched a couple of weeks ago. So we actually have this car to drive in game, and like I said, it's not just livery. Also, if you look at the images on screen right now, you can see the differences between each car. So from the side angle, not so obvious, but you can see the general shape of the side pods from this angle, and also the barge boards, and some very small tweaks to the nose and the front wing. But this angle is where you can really see the difference. So you can see the absolute essential overhaul they've had of the entire engine cover, and that running all the way down to the rear wing. Also that very extreme serrated floor, along with a complete overhaul on the cooling vents on the top and also the side pod. So yeah, in case you were doubting, this is the actual C43, a completely different car to the other game, and it's not just a livery update. Anyway, from my experience driving it, it's got its own set of physics and it feels different to the other cars. So a lot to learn, a lot to take in. You guys can also try this for yourselves on the F1 22 game, as this is free DLC for the game. So guys, leave a like and subscribe, and let's get into it. This is a time trial only mode. Let's find out what this car is like on track. And to confirm this is actually the car, you can see we have the new steering wheel, which is a new feature of this year's car. It's essentially modelled off the Mercedes, of course. Bottas is the lead driver, and obviously he wanted a change, I'm assuming, to have more familiar, control placement and just general wheel feeling. So he's gone back to the Merc model, and yeah, just generally, I can't believe we have an actual 23 car. Even this little slope on the cockpit, which is a feature of the Sauber. We've got the new ultra-wide mirrors, which is also a feature of all the cars this year. Everything is here, guys. I cannot wait. And even in this case, you can see the team wear is also up to date in the garage. So yeah, really awesome. Let's go on track and let's do our first lap. Here we are then, on track for the very first time. And I have this on realistic performance, okay? So bear that in mind. Now, I've done some laps with this car already before this recording a couple of days ago, and it definitely has its own set of physics per se. It handles differently to the 22 cars, and in my opinion it's a bit more planted. I actually prefer it. It's a bit slower, a bit more delayed in the corners. You can feel, there's been a bit of a reduction in overall pace this year. The cars are meant to be slower, and you can feel that, but they're definitely a bit more, I'd say, planted and a bit more settled compared to the 22 cars, which were a bit unresponsive. So right now we're just cruising around on a default setup. So what we're going to do now is essentially do a bit of practice, do a few laps, and I'm going to try and set you guys a challenge of trying to beat my lap in the Alpha Challenge. And we're going to see what lap I can do with a default setup on a realistic setting, and you guys can go ahead and try and beat my lap time. we'll take that. There we go. A 128.975. And that is with a completely default setup except for the brake bias and the diff, which I've adjusted. So good luck, and hopefully you don't beat my lap. Now then, let's talk about some of the keys of the lap and how to really maximize a lap time. So for me, this car is very planted compared to our 22 car, so make the most of it and use the traction zones. That's going to be really, really important to maximize those and kind of retrain your brain compared to the 22 cars that you can get onto the power a lot earlier. That's a really, really key part of this circuit. Another thing for me around here, slow in, fast out. Make sure your exits are really, really strong. Just like the traction, those two things go hand in hand. So make sure you prioritize, you know, braking maybe a bit earlier, getting the nose in, get the corner done, and then try to drive off and get that clean exit. Another thing for me is mechanical grip. So on a default setup especially, you lack that low speed grip. So important to make sure you can still get the car slowed down, hence why the 50 brake bias is really, really key to just help, you know, get the car rotated and, you know, get that turn in at the crucial point. And then besides that, try and just keep it all together. Build up your momentum, do a lot, you know, a few laps in a row. Try not to restart laps too much. I suggest, you know, that's a good tip for time trialing and improving your pace. You know, don't keep restarting the lap. So even if you invalidate, just keep going. Build up that momentum lap after lap after lap after lap, because if you keep restarting, you essentially just keep doing the first couple of corners all the time, and then you don't really practice the rest of the track anymore. So just keep doing it round and round and round, and yeah, you will see some rewards from that. This was a really good lap, really clean lap, very happy with it, and a decent lap to cap it off, so good luck. And just to confirm, as you can see there, you have my sector times on screen along with the final lap. So yeah, best of luck to you. If you like, guys, and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. As always, a big shout out to the members for supporting the channel. Check out the 2 videos on screen, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and that's goodbye from me.